Range Resources. Mike Power has over 30 years experience in the mineral exploration industry. He holds a Bachelor's of Science in Geology and a Master's of Science in Geophysics from the University of Alberta. He worked for 23 years as a contract exploration geophysicist and geologist, mostly in Northern Canada and Alaska. He was a founding partner of Aurora Geosciences Limited and vice president until 2010, when he stepped aside to set up an associated private prospect generator, Pownark Resources Limited. Pownark built a portfolio of gold and silver projects in Northern Canada and Nevada, and in 2016, he vended these into Silver Range Resources and took over as president and CEO. Since then, he's assembled one of the largest portfolios of gold and silver projects held by a TSX Venture listed project generator. Mike, let's hear a little bit more about Silver Range.
Sure, thanks, Richard. I don't have any slides, so I'll just give you the rundown. So we are a prospect generator. Our focus is on high-grade gold and silver projects. Our target threshold is 5 grams a ton gold or gold equivalent. We don't look at targets less than that. We want to see surface mineralization of that grade at surface. We want to see a deposit, the possibilities of a deposit in that class. We work in Northern Canada and Nevada. We have a few legacy projects in the Yukon, but primarily we work in the Northwest Territories and Nunavut. But our majority of our land holdings actually in Nevada, where we've got 23 projects. We've got 10 of our portfolio of 43 announced projects are optioned, and other people are working on them. One has moved to the stage of a royalty. Actually 2 have. And we're aggressively trying to put the rest of our projects in good hands to see them drilled, leverages shareholders' equity. We run a very tight ship. Our view is a well-fed dog don't hunt. So our G&A, I think, is arguably amongst the lowest in the business. We reinvest what we earn from our options in exploration to develop new projects, advance our existing projects. We're currently cash flow positive. In terms of projects that might be, knock them out of the park, we have an interesting project on the Arctic coast, Tree River. It's a Pilbara or Witwatersrand lookalike. It's a Archean conglomerate dated at 2.9 GA. It hosts gold throughout its length. We've got 7 kilometers of it. Averages about 0.1, 0.2 grams in any sample you take there, and we've taken panel samples up to 36 grams from large panel samples from it. It's about 10 to 20 meters thick, and interestingly, last fall, discovery was announced of diamonds in the same conglomerate, which is really unusual. Might be an ideal destination for a couple looking for a wedding ring, but it's we have splashy high-grade gold, and they found octahedral diamonds. They took 2 10-kilogram samples and found 3 diamonds in that. So that's kind of an interesting project, and it's comparable to Novo's, Pilbara projects and to the Rand. So that's one flagship project, I guess. And another we have is a large land position joining Sabina Gold and Silver's Back River project. We have 5 projects there that cover all of the significant gold showings between the Back River project and the Lupin mine. So if you know that neck of the woods well, that's over 100 miles, and it basically gives us a good footprint, and we're hoping for developments at Sabina. Rest of our projects moving along. We have projects near large gold camps down in Nevada, and we're aggressively looking for new partners. We got 82 million shares out, 92 million fully diluted, market cap's around 20. Over 50% of the shares are held by either management or big investors, so that there's not a great float. And we're going about the business. Hopefully we'll find one that we knock it out of the park and move ourselves up a niche or 2 in the league. So that's the Silver Range story.
Wow, it's an exciting bunch of projects, and that I like that hungry wolf analogy there. That's very, very good. Keith, can I throw to you for a question here for our speaker?
Mark, just a couple of quick questions. The first question is, are you a silver company or a gold company? I wasn't sure.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah.
You're talking about Lupin Mine and you're talking about other gold-related assets, but are you planning to change?
No, no.
Company or what are you? What kind of animal?
We are a gold company, but Silver Range was spun out of Strategic Metals back in 2010 to explore the Silver Range project. Need to find a resource there, about 35 million ounces of silver and lots of lead and zinc. It's near Faro in the Yukon, but the project kind of went dormant. And then I came along with a bundle of other projects, and they decided to repurpose the company back in 2016. So then I threw them in. I like the name. The other problem I got is that if you come from up north, Gold Range is a bad name because it's the toughest bar in Yellowknife. So I didn't want to be known as Gold Range Resources. So.
That's the all-important one. Yeah.
Okay, and the second question, you seem to me to be what the classic project generator. Is that your model, and is the intent is to find something and as you find it, farm it out to somebody else?
Absolutely. Unless it looks so good that we just, had to do it ourselves, we'll stick to the prospect generator model. That's our stock and trade. That's what we do. So if you bet on us, you're betting on a prospect generator.
Okay.
Well, Caroline, the prospect generator model is certainly developing some great opportunities for streaming and royalty deals later down the track. But is this a bit early for you guys to look at? And have you got a question further there for Keith?
Yes, unfortunately, it would be a little early for us, given our target area, which tends to be closer to production. We're looking for things which are no more than 3 years out from production. So I think, unfortunately, Mike, it probably would be a little early. Tell me, and for those of us who aren't as familiar with the prospect generator model, like, how do you actually make money in this model? And what do you need to do in order to move the share price? Those to me seem to be the two big issues here and big questions.
Right. I heard David Cole at EMX call prospect generators the get rich slow program, but I hope it can go a little faster. So it starts with, number one, when your prospect generator starts to generate enough cash internally that it's not going back to the market and continually doing raises. So that's your first step. When the thing becomes self-financing, then you need to build a large portfolio. We all know the odds of finding a gold deposit are, worse than 1 in 1,000. When you start to put together a portfolio of 40 or 50 projects, now suddenly you're getting down to the level of a street bet in roulette, where you bet on two squares. And so your odds of finding something start to improve, provided you've got decent prospects. If you get other people working on them, I think that's the key thing, I think, in a prospect generator. You got to get those projects out there and sold. And I think that should be a metric. That's one we use. So I'm talking my own book, but I think that's got to be the business model. You get other people using their money. So you're leveraging what little capital you put into a project, and they're doing the heavy lifting. And then, it depends on your view of exploration. If you think you can outsmart a rock, prospect generators aren't the way to go. But if you want to bet stochastically, maybe a prospect generator is a way of hedging your bets, and ultimately one pays off. We live in hope, and we work at it.
Right. And then I think you mentioned, sorry, Richard, you mentioned something about a royalty. So where does that fit in? I think you said one of them was at a royalty stage. Yeah,
one's converted to I think with two could be safely said it can be converted with a royalty with sweeteners if in the event of certain, asteroid hits Earth events. So that we have a couple where we've got significant royalties on the property. And our model in vending a property is always to preserve a royalty. Generally, we want to see a success fee. We have an improving market, so we usually only sell 75% of a project. So we got a bit of retained interest there that can be bought down or out. And then the option proceeds fund our ongoing exploration. And that's the business model. So we have a couple of royalties, and you know, I can never figure out the difference between a prospect generator and a royalty streaming company. Sometimes it just seems to be royalty streamers seem to work out of the office with big checkbooks, and you know, we've got tighter budgets and have to use rock hammers. I don't mean to be disparaging, but I just have a hard time with the whole understanding the difference between some of them, particularly at the lower end of the market.
I guess that's one of the fascinating things about the development of the precious metals equity and funding markets over the last, say, decade or so. It has been the proliferation of different funding models. I guess we get there in the end, but Mike, how far do you advance a project before you call in others, or maybe put the project out for tender for other interests? I mean, you get it to just past the geophysics stage? Do you get it drill ready? What do you like to do? Is there any sort of cut and dried formula?
Well, one of our operating commandments is "Thou shalt not drill." So we generally try and take the project up to the drill stage and have a clear, compelling drill target, an opportunity, not a problem, and then try our damnedest to sell it. And in this business, no matter what level you're at, selling is always the hardest part of the job. And we've just decided that's the level we'll do it, and then we try and move them out, and that allows us to leverage a smaller investment to generate potentially a bigger return. It also lowers the burden on. Because you've got less sunk cost, it lowers the burden when you go into doing an option agreement. It gives you a little more flexibility, and you can spread your limited resources on more projects. So that's the rule we follow.
Just
yeah, we've definitely heard that many a good prospect has been killed by drilling it. So in that phase, Keith, sorry, I interrupted.
I was about to say the same thing. Don't spoil a good project by drilling it. Exactly what you said.
Great minds think alike, Keith.
Yeah. Exactly. Just one quick question, Mike. I think that you made an interesting point where basically you are a micro royalty company. So do you see a lot of royalty type companies coming to you to buy those royalties? Do you see that as another way of making money?
Well, we haven't had any approach us. We generally just, we deal with conventional options. There's more upside for us. I mean, we'd talk to somebody if they came and wanted to buy a royalty, but it's probably not a good fit until we've got an option that's, into the 4th or 5th year, and it looks like, okay, this thing's really got legs under it. At that point, the option or the royalty might be worth something that a royalty streamer might be willing to write a big check for. But in the interim, we haven't had that kind of business.
I see some questions coming here on the chat page, but I'll tell you what, we might even refer them to Mike a bit later on, but that's good. I got one more question, just as an overall comment, Mike. How are you feeling? What's your comment on the hunger for bigger companies for new projects and new ideas? How would you comment on that?
I think there's still, well, I can only speak to the areas I work. And, the Nevada Gold merger has definitely dampened some of the big company competition. You only got one hand clapping down there. Some of the other big companies seem to have gotten a little more risk averse after COVID. Maybe they have so many protocols or whatever. We haven't had, the phone ringing off our hook from them, but a lot of juniors and a lot of people starting up new companies, moving into the market, have been approaching us. I would say last summer when silver spiked, we had a bunch of projects which have high silver. Our rule, as I said, is 5 grams gold. That translates into 500 grams silver. So if we have a project with 500 grams silver, we'll hang on to it and work on it. And all of a sudden in June, the phone started ringing and people started contacting us about silver. But once again, none of the majors. I haven't seen them really sniffing around too hard. I don't think they're hungry enough yet.
I'm hearing you. Look, thank you very much, Mike Power from Silver Range in the Yukon. Really appreciate that.